In another game played at the G-Tech Community Stadium where Brentford played host to Manchester City, it was a game that everyone expected to be very cagey because Brentford, barring Liverpool, are the only side with the best record at home in the division. So Manchester City went into that game at the back of a 3-game winning streak. They had won a couple of games. They had beaten Leicester City at the Kemper. They had beaten West Ham United at home. And then also they brushed aside Salford City, the League Two side, by 8-0. So entering the game, you'd be thinking that Pep Guardiola, following his divorce issues and all that, yeah, Manchester City were actually playing well. And coming up against a team that's being led by 2 African players. That's Brandon Mbeumo, the Cameroonian, and then also the Congolese and John Wissa. So yeah, it was a tough game. We enjoyed the first half, but it was barren, and you'd be thinking that, after such a cagey game where both teams had their moments, but none could just break the deadlock and entering into a recess with a stalemate, then, the goals in this game wouldn't have really come to life because we didn't see any goals in the first half. Even after the hour mark, it was still barren. Then the rose for Foden. He's still the best player in the league after being awarded the Premier League Player of the League last season, at the end of last season. So he is still the best player in the league. So he gave City the lead. It was a deserved one, yeah, despite the fact that you could say that Brentford also had their chances and they could have buried most of the chances they created. So for Foden put City 1 up, and then minutes later he added 1 more. So you'd be thinking, oh yeah, City are cruising to 3 points and then 2 goals, or maybe they could have even added to their tally. But you could also say that City's troubles never went anywhere because you look at the teams they've beaten during that 3-game winning run, and it was Leicester who find themselves in, the relegation zone. It was West Ham also, who were not really playing well under Julian Lopetegui. And after that defeat, the coach had to be sacked. And then there was Salford City that also played in the League Two. So they were not that much for Manchester City, but against a real opponent, that game against Brentford actually gave them a deja vu, like a game that they played in the UEFA Champions League against Feyenoord some months back, where City took a 3-0 lead and then they relinquished that lead in the space of 10 minutes. So Brentford actually showed they were strong at home, and then they are the team with the second best home record in the league, and they managed to claw their way back. Yohan Wissa continued with his impressive form in the league, scoring, pulling one back for the host, and then it was Rosleb also rising highest to not home across to make it 2-2, and they could have even sealed victory because in the dying embers of the game, it was Brandon Mbeumo with a left-footed curler, nearly finding the left-hand side, of the post. Before it was Nathan Ake who was there just at the right place to head that one out. So Manchester City haven't really impressed, if I should put it. Yeah, they've won 3 games, but mind you, before winning 3 games on the bounce, they had only managed 1 victory in their last 13 games, and they won 3 on the bounce against relatively or comparatively weaker opponent. But Brentford gave them a run for their money. And for Pep Guardiola, it's still, the news about his divorce with his wife making the airwaves, because after 30 years of marriage, it looks like he is set to split with his wife. But for City, they find themselves sit after that draw at the G-Tech Community Stadium, and their season keeps on being a topsy-turvy one. They keep on blowing hot and cold. But I just can't say that City are real title contenders after that draw. So